the Environmental Protection Agency proposing new standards for cars and gas. But will these higher standards lead to higher prices at the pump? Here to weigh in, Mark Modica, Associate Fellow at the National Legal and Policy Center, and Dan Weiss, Senior Fellow at the Center for American Progress. Dan, to you first. We know that the EPA wants to reduce sulfur by 60% in gas, and now we hear that this is going to have a cost at the gas pump, 1 penny per gallon, according to the EPA, up to 9 cents, according to the American Petroleum Institute. Dan, who's right? That's a big gap.
Well, first of all, it's important to remember why EPA is proposing this. This is to protect the lungs and health of our children, our senior citizens, and other people with respiratory ailments. This rule will be like taking the pollution from 30 million cars off the road. It'll prevent thousands of asthma attacks every year and prevent thousands of premature deaths every year. Well, it's estimated that for every dollar in cleanup costs, it'll generate $7 in health benefits.
I mean, my question is, why the big difference in estimates?
Well, you know, big oil companies made similar big predictions about the last time EPA tried to clean up gasoline, and those predictions are wrong. But you know what, Gerri? Even if they're right,
all right.
Let's say, let me finish. Let's say big oil's right. The average American uses 10 gallons of gasoline a week, which means it would be a 90-cent a week increase to get 20,000.
I think you're going to get a fight back on that. Let's give Mark a chance to get in here. You know, I have read that we have already reduced sulfur emissions by 90%. How far do we want to go? I mean, are we going to make it go away? I don't understand. Where is the end of this?
Well, I saw those same statistics. 90% since 2004. It's been reduced at a cost of $10 billion. And that's great. We should try to protect the environment. But, you know, first off, I don't know why we have to address this, since we were all supposed to be driving electric cars in 10 or 20 years. So I guess that's not working out too well for the green crowd. So now we're back to talking about big oil and how the evil big oil is killing senior citizens and people with respiratory problems. The problem in this country now isn't people dying from air pollution. People can't afford to pay for the price of gas. And once again, the green agenda is funded with other people's money. If it's 9 cents a gallon more, it's too much.
Let's get Dan in to talk about this, because I think this is really a legitimate issue here. Because, look, what Mark is saying is that this should not be priority number one in this country. Priority number one in this country should be more about getting people back to work. It should be about having people have affordable lives. It seems to me that there is no end to the demands from the environmentalists. It's not that you really want to lower sulfur. It's that you want to get rid of fossil fuel altogether. I mean, really, isn't that right, Dan?
That is just a silly straw person argument. In fact,
it's not silly. Lots of people make that argument.
You asked me a question, Gerri.
I resent that. It is not a silly point at all, my friend.
Getting sulfur out of gasoline to prevent children from having asthma attacks and premature deaths has nothing to do with whether or not we get off of fossil fuels 10, 20, or 30 years from now. That's just silly. The reality is, this isn't, let me finish, this isn't about the environment. This is about protecting kids' lungs. Well, we've given you lots of airtime. I think it's time for Mark. We're protecting kids' lungs for 90 cents a week per driver.
Let's address what Dan is saying directly here and talk about this issue of health.
I think Dan should contribute to maybe some type of charity for children's asthma and spend his own money to help people. But once again, it's always, let's spend money, and these lofty speculation about how asthmatics are dying because of the remaining sulfur in gasoline. The environment has improved greatly. I'm sure there's always room for improvement, but the majority of people don't want to pay 9 cents a gallon.
Half of all Americans live in cities.
Dan, you seem to not have your arms around the numbers here, my friend.
Where the smog is at unhealthy levels. Half of all Americans live in cities with smogs that are on healthy levels.
Guys,
it's not
thanks
a
for
niche
coming on
boutique
tonight.
thing
Mark and
to protect
Dan,
children's
please.
lungs.
Dan,
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Goodbye. Mark, thanks
Gerri.
for coming on. Appreciate it.